Starting.
Make sure it's on. This is going to be tough. Is it on?
Mm-hmm.
Be sure it's on. It
Okay.
was really hard to do that. Probably our number one is all messed up because trying to do that twice messed me up. Am I on?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here's Godzilla Grandpa back trying to help my grandson figure out the ways of the world. And this lesson is called Technology is Tough to Understand. Maybe we'll call it High Tech. High Tech Tom teaches Monkey Butt. No, we can't say my name. We gotta have to delete this. High Tech Gorilla. No, anyway. Okay, keep going. Just who cares? All right. Anyway, here we are. So I decided that we were running out of material, and so the best thing to do was probably to go get my grandson and bring him to my house. Oh, I went and got him, and on the way back from it was Friday traffic, and he lives about a long way from me, so we have to take the freeway back to where I live. Anyway, big traffic. We left early. It was all good, but I started talking to him about how important it was to do everything in order and to make sure that you don't multitask. And as I'm talking to him, I passed my exit. I've only lived here like 50 years, and I passed my exit. And good thing, because it was all stop and go traffic, and I'm like, oh no, and it's like 5 miles to the next exit. Well, there was a wreck right there. It happens, and so it took us like an hour. So yeah, I was like, yeah, see, that proves it right there that I should have probably drove and got off the exit before I was telling you. So I thought that was a good lesson for him to learn right there. See, don't do what I did. That's kind of a good way to learn. I like, okay, Elijah. See, I shouldn't have talked to you and tried to tell you how to do your business. I should have probably took care of my business first, right?
Right.
What did you say? Okay. So anyway, we were in agreement. Anyway, so he's like, Grandpa, let's start working on the app. And I'm like, well, I don't think we have any material, Eliza. It's getting tough. I don't think this is going to work because we just need a lot more material, and try to do one every day. That's way too much. And he's like, well, how do we get material? I said, well, that's where you come in. You're the comedian, so you need to think and try to figure out something that's funny.
Yeah.
So he said, well, this is kind of funny, Grandpa. And I'm like, what? The fact that it's taking you 2 hours to get a couple miles to your house, that you pass the exit when you're trying to tell me, and now you're stuck in traffic. And I think that's kind of funny. So yeah, it'd be really funny if we run out of gas here and then we're stuck on the freeway. That would be hilarious. He's like, yeah. And anyway, so we get off the exit finally, and now I'm lost totally. Yeah, like I said, I've lived here forever, but it's a really complicated little thing. We almost took the exit. It got us to the bridge to take us over to downtown Seattle, which would have been really a blast in another 2 hours or 3 hours. But we didn't, and we were smart, so we didn't take that exit, and we got off, and now I have no idea where I'm at. And he's like, well, Grandpa, you should get what Mom has. And I'm like, what's that? And he said, it's called GPS. So yeah, I've heard of that before. It sounds pretty good. I had it once. And he said, well, what happened? I said, well, I got mad at the girl because she always kept telling me what to do and where to turn. And I was like, really? And I'm like, I know where I'm at. We stopped, and she's like, and besides that, it was kind of hard to turn her. It was just hard to make her stop talking. And so finally I just stopped using my Cyrus. It was, Cyrus was too, I don't like women that are like know-it-alls, right? So I was like, Cyrus, can you just let me drive and stop telling me where to go? Please, that's why I'm single to begin with. And so he's like, yeah, I can understand that. And I'm like, he said, Mom has Cyrus. She sounds really pretty. And I was like, oh yeah, she is really pretty. Really pretty. How do you know? I said, well, when your mom got her, I had to check her out and make sure that her credentials were good. So I called her and asked her what her credentials were, and then I started going out with her. Like, you started going out with Cyrus? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wow, Grandpa, why don't you ever bring her over to the house? I said, well, I will, but she's really busy. Obviously, she works 23 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then she takes Saturday and Sunday off. He said, well, tomorrow's Saturday. Why don't you go out with her and bring her here, and we can all go do something? And I'm like, well, that sounds like a good idea, but you know what, Elijah? Now I'm really lost, and I don't know where I'm at. So let's not talk about it right now. Let's just single task. You're good at multitasking. I'm not. So let me just drive, try to figure out where we are, and we'll talk about it when we get home. What did you say?
What I said
was okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. So anyway, no, he really said, oh. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Anyway, so see you over there. You're not laughing. That might not be good. Anyway, so we go to we're like totally lost, and I'm upset, and so finally I just go, oh, I know. So I flipped. I went to the sky, and he's like, Grandpa. I'm like, what? And he's like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, do what? Take your hands off the steering wheel when you're driving. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But this is what I do when I'm lost. And he said, what? I said, you'll see. And he's like, then all of a sudden, about 2 minutes later, he's like, a cop's behind you. I'm like, good. So I pull over, and the cop comes up, and it's like, you know, you're driving erratically all over the road. And I'm like, yeah, I always do that. And he said, well, that's not good. Have you been drinking? And I'm like, I don't drink. I'm a college student. And he's like, okay, well, let me run your stuff, and do you got insurance? So I said, okay, good. Yeah, I do. But I said, really, well, the truth is I'm lost, and I don't know where I am. Again, I remember you. I said, don't you remember last time I was lost? And he looked at me funny, and I'm like, yeah, well, anyway, yeah, I'll be right back, he says. He goes to the car, comes back, hands me my ID, and says, okay, well, Mr. Udis, I can see by your address here. If you just go up to the next light and take a right, it'll run right into your house. And I'm like, oh, good, perfect, right on, thank you very much. And he goes back to his car, and we drive away. And Elijah's like, wow, he was really nice. And I'm like, yeah, I know him. I know him too. He's like, you know the cop? I said, I know all the cops. He said, why? How do you know the cops? I said, because every time I get lost, that's what I do. He said, what? I said, well, I flip off the satellite dish there, and you know that they have Hubble telescopes up on top of the police station, up on top of the satellite dish, where they have a bunch of policemen that are watching everybody. He said, really? Do they got guns? and he said, I said, what? And he said, they probably have guns. And he said, yeah, they probably got binoculars too. I said, well, I think the binoculars probably aren't quite good enough to see us from the satellite, but they definitely have really high tech telescopes. So they can see right into the car, and they can see my belly button. So they can right now they're looking right at you, so make sure your zipper's zipped. And he's like, checks to make sure. I'm like, okay, well anyway, so he's like, so what? And he's like, he's so confused. I'm like, yeah, every time I get lost a lot, you know. I'm gorilla grandpa, and it's like people expect me to get lost and drive erratically. That's what I do, and so whenever I get really lost like this, I just flip off the satellite dish, and so the cops know. They look down, and they see it's me, and they go, "Hey, Tom Udis is lost again. Would you please pull him over and let him know how to get home?" And you go, "Wow, that's really neat, Grandpa." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I know all the cops." And he's like, okay, so now we're on the road and we're almost home. Can we talk about Cyrus again? He's 13 years old and he really is starting to like girls. And I said, yeah, let's talk about it. He said, I was thinking, Grandpa, it's like, if she works 23 hours a day and takes Saturday and Sunday off, then who watches all the cars when she's not working? And I said, well, that 1 hour every day, nobody gets, Cyrus is off. You can't have GPS. They just turn it off for 1 hour in the middle of the night when nobody's driving hardly. But on Saturday and Sunday, she has friends help her. Friends? Really? Yeah, I said, I know a couple of her friends too. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, do you want me to call her when I get back home? Oh, yeah, and maybe have a couple of her friends come with us too. I can meet them. Are they pretty? Of course, they're really pretty, and they're smart too. You know, anybody that can do this job where they have 40 million cars that they have to be responsible for all at once has to be pretty smart. They figure it out. Think about it. He's like, yeah, she really must be really smart. He's like, they thought about it a little more, and he's like, I said, and I look at him. I said, really, Elijah? And he's like, what? And I said, do you think Cyrus is in that box? Do you think there's a woman in that box? He said, no. Do you think I'm stupid? I know she has an office somewhere. Like, yeah, you are way getting smarter. That's incredible. Yeah, she's got an office somewhere. So anyway, okay, so now we're home. He's tired. He's like, Grandpa, will you call her? Will you call it? Please call her. So I get on the phone and I call her and I'm like, hey, Cyrus, is this you? I'm like, sorry to call you while you're working. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, yeah, I apologize. Yeah, well, my grandson really wanted to talk to you. You want to talk to him? Oh, no, you're busy right now. Well, maybe you could call him back when you get off work. Oh, you got a headache? Yeah, I would have a headache doing that much work. Yeah, traffic's bad on Friday. That makes sense. Okay, well, how about we'll just call you tomorrow? Okay, she said. So anyway, that's about it. Really high-tech technology, and it's kind of confusing for Elijah, so I'm trying to straighten him out here. That's it. Cut.
It's okay.